Well, good evening once again. Day 1335 of the Trump administration, leaving 49 days now until the presidential election, and exactly 2 weeks until Trump and Biden face off in their first televised debate. The White House today held a ceremony clearly aimed at trying to refocus attention away from the many crises our country is facing to mark the signing of a new agreement between Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain. Yet by day's end, the focus was very much right back to the president's approach to the pandemic that has taken more than 196,000 American lives, infected over 6.6 million Americans. In what may have been the toughest questioning of this president yet, Donald Trump tonight took questions from undecided voters at a town hall anchored by George Stephanopoulos of ABC News. It was held in Philadelphia. Having limited his media exposure to largely friendly outlets, having limited exposure, period, to the American people, the president seemed to be clearly taken aback by the sharp questions and some of the follow-ups in some cases. Indeed, one of the first questions concerned Trump's comments to veteran journalist Bob Woodward about the risks of the virus.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down.
Yes, sir.
Because I don't want to create a panic.
Here's what the president was asked about that tonight.
If you believe it's the president's responsibility to protect America, why would you downplay a pandemic that is known to disproportionately harm low-income families and minority communities?
Yeah. Well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. My action was very strong. Yeah, because what I did was with China, I put a ban on. With Europe, I put a ban on. So we saved a lot of lives when we did that.
That right there is in direct contrast to what the president was saying about his comments to Bob Woodward just last week.
Did you mislead the public by saying that you downplayed the coronavirus and that you repeatedly did that in order to reduce panic?
Well, I think if you said in order to reduce panic, perhaps that's so. I don't want people to be frightened. I don't want to create panic, as you say.
I want to show a calmness. I'm the leader of the country. I can't be jumping up and down and scaring people. I don't want to scare people. I want people not to panic. And that's exactly what I did.
Why did you lie to the American people, and why should we trust what you have to say now?
Such a terrible question, and the phraseology. I didn't lie. What I said is we have to be calm. We can't be panicked. And what I said to Woodward was actually good. I said calm. We need calm. We don't need panic.
Tonight, more of Bob Woodward's recorded conversations with Trump about the pandemic have been made public. CNN tonight aired new excerpts of those phone calls, including one in July when the president grew defensive over criticism of his response to the virus.
I've been in opposition all my life, Bob, more than most. And let's see how it all turns out. We got 105 days. Let's see how it all turns out. I think it's going to turn out.
Okay, today at 5 o'clock.
I was unlucky with the virus because it came in, and
sure,
whether it was me or anybody else.
But you got it. You got it. The country's got it, and the world's got it. But you're in charge of this country, and
and we've done better than any other country. Just about done better than any other country at handling it. And it's a bigger, more diverse, more difficult country. And we've done better other than with the press. Other than with the press, I've done a great job. With the press, I can't do a good job because it's fake. It's fake news.
But
it's a fake group of people, and you know it, and you won't write it.
Okay, are you
one of those things, Bob?
The president was asked about the Woodward book this morning during a lengthy live phone conversation on Fox and Friends.
I actually got to read it last night. I read it very quickly, and it was very boring. But there was not much in that book. Is it accurate, Mr. President? That's a boring book. It's okay. I mean, it's fine.
Trump's opponent, Joe Biden, was campaigning in Florida today and once again attacked Trump for his approach to the pandemic.
This president is totally ignored. Look what he did. This president knew. He knew the danger. He knew how deadly this pandemic was, and he denied it. He didn't say a word to the American people about it. So it's been near criminal the way he's handled this. It's absolutely bizarre.
Phil, I'd like to begin with you. 49 days to go until the election. The candidate, Mr. Trump, that you saw tonight, was he in debate shape and debate ready, or did his performance on the ABC News town hall show a guy who's been limited to friendly audiences and no time limits?
Brian, to be perfectly frank, that performance tonight by the president at the ABC town hall should send shudders and shockwaves through the Republican Party. The first debate is 14 days away, 2 Tuesdays from now, and this is a president who's clearly not ready for that debate. His answers, especially on the coronavirus, the number one topic for many voters, were circuitous, they were curious, they were sort of all over the map. At one point, he was even challenging the science behind mask usage and claimed that some people don't think masks work. And when George Stephanopoulos pressed him on it, who those people are, the president said waiters at restaurants. It was a very strange answer. He was clearly on the defensive, taking questions from some of the voters in the audience. And it was so striking and rare to see real people, real Americans confronting the president with challenging questions, with urgent questions, and having the backbone and wherewithal to follow up with him. And when the president tried to interrupt him, as happened with one woman, a professor, she said, "No, sir, please let me ask my question first." It was really a sight to see and a sign that this is a president who's rather rusty after so many months of really talking to very friendly interviewers like Judge Deneen over the weekend and Fox and Friends this morning, and not really putting himself out there in a grueling way to prepare for these debates.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.